Hi everyone. The topic for Unit 6 is Special Education Services. Some of the information for this week will be a review from what you have read or learned in previous weeks, but still very relevant and important for you to know. As you have already learned, the education of individuals who are blind or visually impaired, including those who have additional disabilities and those who are deafblind, has gradually changed from medically driven, institution based services to the most recent models of inclusion and education with sighted peers or typically developed peers in the general education setting. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, serves as a statement of national policy to guarantee that all students with disabilities receive free and appropriate public education. And under the least restrictive environment stipulation of IDEA, public agencies must ensure that students with disabilities, any or all disabilities, receive education with their non-disabled peers in their neighborhood schools to the maximum extent possible. The number of students with low incidence disabilities included in general education classrooms and attending general education settings is constantly increasing. Some data from the United States Department of Education Office of Special Education Programs, or OSEP, suggests that over 87% of students with blindness or visual impairment and over 70% of those who are deafblind have received services in general education settings at least part of the time. Not all the time, but at least part of the time. Although the evolution of services has led to mainstreaming and integration, there are still some concerns about the inclusion of students with blindness, visual impairments, and those who are deafblind in general education settings. Some of these concerns or issues are the challenges to find qualified professionals, the changes in team members from year to year, the necessary accommodations to support inclusion, and the opportunities for communication and socialization with peers and adults in classrooms. In spite of the fact that today we have more information about strategies and approaches to facilitate and improve communication in inclusive settings, a lot of work still needs to be done. Among the readings that you have for this week, you have a document about the National Agenda for Education of Children and Youth with Visual Impairments. As you know, students who are blind, visually impaired, have unique educational needs, including the need to learn to acquire knowledge in alternative ways. Learning the necessary compensatory skills and adaptive techniques, such as using Braille or the use of optical devices for written communication, requires specialized instruction from teachers who have expertise in addressing disability-specific needs. Some of the other areas uniquely affected by the loss of vision are concept development, or the ability to understand the relationship between and functions of objects and abstract ideas, sensory motor activities, and the ability to coordinate vision, hearing, and other senses with physical actions, socialization, and career or vocational preparation. On the national agenda for the education of children and youth with visual impairments, including those with multiple disabilities, was created to address the educational needs these students have and also represents a broad consensus of how educational programs must change to meet the needs of students with visual impairments. The national agenda is a long document, but for this week, you're only required to read the part on teachers' perspectives. Feel free to explore the website more if you want to. There's a lot of information there that you might find helpful and important. You also have a reading about the different educational settings or programs for students who are blind or visually impaired. And like I have mentioned over and over and over, each child and family is unique in his or her needs for accommodations and types of programs. What works well for one may not work for others. The best setting or program includes both time with sighted peers to develop that community, so the community social skills, and also time with others who are visually impaired to avoid isolation. And there are basically three methods that we use here in the United States to provide educational services to students who are blind or visually impaired, and those are residential state schools for the blind, um, resource room programs in neighborhood schools, and then also the itinerary model where the teacher of the visually impaired travels to students' local schools to provide the instruction. All these three models that I mentioned have advantages and disadvantages. So we're gonna have a closer look at those three programs, and I hope that by the end of the unit you have a more clear idea on how these three programs are different, and again the advantages and disadvantages. For this week, you also have readings on effective classroom adaptations and the effective role of for residential schools in this time of inclusion. After completing the readings and the activities for this week, you should have a better sense of the educational services available for students who are blind and visually impaired, including those with additional disabilities and deafblindness, the reasons why we provide these services, and the differences among the different settings and programs. In the next few weeks, we will be talking more about the role of the teacher of the visually impaired, and also about the expanded core curriculum, which is the body of knowledge and compensatory skills that are needed by students with visual impairments due to their unique disability-specific needs. This is all for now. I hope you enjoy the readings and the materials for this week. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye-bye.